Have you ever realized, years after a breakup, that you were awful to the partner at the time, and how did you cope? After about 10 years, when we had separate families and all that jazz, I apologized. Yes, I grew and became a better person. I quit drinking. The ex I realized this about actually called me when I came across this post. Things are alright, and we are friends. That only happened after I put the bottle down. I grew up, and I'm a much better person and partner. Years later, she has kids and everything. I'm married. We got back in touch and I apologized for how I was. Not 100%, but I realized that I did half the damage. I coped by eating a pizza. I realized that I did half the damage. This is one of the most self-aware things you can think. Well done. Either that or the most half self-aware things you can think. I coped by eating a pizza, if this ain't me. Yes, we talked about what happened and I apologized. She told me she forgave me, but I still feel ashamed of it. My ex called me yesterday when he realized he'd been awful during our relationship. It was the most validating call I've ever gotten. True. Always thought calls like that would be a terrible idea. Did you actually wish for something like that, or was it out of the blue? And did it take some time to come to wishing, or was that always there? Yes, I think about it every day. By tipping 30%. I used to criticize her for only being a waitress instead of using her intellect for good. Last relationship we were equally as toxic to each other, but going into my next one I'm much more aware of what I did wrong, and have 100% learned from my mistakes. Yes, I half don't care they deserved it, and half miss them so much it hurts, and wish I was a better person. We weren't meant to be together, but I refused to see it, even though she constantly told me she wasn't happy anymore. We were together for 5 years, but the last year and a half shouldn't have happened. Yes, the relationship was over 2 years ago, but I still haven't been able to date anyone else, because the idea of me being like that again is crippling. Yes, the thought creeps up on me when I'm alone, and always makes me feel awful. I wouldn't say I'm coping so much as trying my hardest to prevent it happening again. Yes, but it didn't take years to realize it. I've learned from it, and won't make the same mistakes. Well, in an abstract sense I knew even right after that I wasn't perfect, that I too made mistakes and so on. But just way later, years as I said, long after I stopped thinking about her consciously, I started getting these flashes of memories, these sudden realizations very occasionally about trivial situations with her. And every time I get one I get this ruthless clarity how and why my behavior there was awful, and how it made her feel. Feels terrible, really. Now, I'm trying to use that as fuel for my drive to not do this again, but honestly I'm terrified of doing that again. Especially since I wasn't aware at all that I was hurting that girl in those situations. So how do you make sure that you do not repeat this? By putting the bad habits away as soon as possible upon meeting another girl. You can even try it with friends. For example, I used to be terrible with opening up and telling my ex how I felt. Now, I try to be more open with my friends, to an extent. Me and my ex had problems, but I look back, and I'm sickened on how I acted. I became a better person, and did a complete 180 on how I am. It doesn't help the fact that she's gone, and I know that she was the one. Yes, and sadly since she cut ties I feel I'd do more harm than good by trying to apologize. All I can do really is improve myself, and make sure it does not happen again. Yes, I was toxic and manipulative, but I gave as good as I got. Here's in a LTR now though so I can't have done too much damage. Yep, we were both just young at 15, and she was the most innocent pure sweethearted girl I'd ever met, and I corrupted her. Not a day goes by where I don't kick myself for losing her. Realizing now that I sort of gaslighted her a bit, when I always felt like I did a decent job of being a boyfriend. Learning from work and friends to shut up, take criticism, and conversation with them on how I can improve or learn from my mistakes. I wasn't terrible to them, but I could have handled things a lot better, and I was crazy. Taking the battery out of your phone and throwing it at them is not the calmest way to let them know you are completely done with texting them, since they just keep insulting you or twisting what you said. But hey, at least I wasn't passive aggressive. To be fair, I had told him the day before that I was done responding. He kept texting this stuff until when I got to the school and saw him down the stairs in the middle of texting. Then I took the battery out and threw it at him from the second floor. Well, in my case I believed it was my fault until recently I realized that I was the victim. I just forgive her and forgot her, but man did I love her only to get cheated on. Even though I'm over her, I haven't been able to get into a new relationship. I've come to enjoy solitude, but I do miss having company sometimes. Yes, I was trying to make a high school relationship more serious than I should have, and didn't respect his choice, that he wanted something more laid back. I ended it with him, since I realized I loved him platonically. Took some time to myself to actually do some growing up, rather than just trying to force grown-up things to happen. Yeah. A big part was looking back and thinking on all the mistakes that were solely my fault, realizing what my actions said about me, and seeing almost all of them could have been avoided by just being more present and considerate to my partner. The person I was with had a way of bringing out the worst in me since the beginning, so the biggest lesson I took from it was that you can't change people or what they do, you can only control your response to it.